I'm really excited because one of my favorite brands, Innersense, recently came out with a new foam. And this is called I Create Definition, and it says that it is a firm hold foam to set texture and provide long-lasting style. Yes, please, I am all for that. Especially the firm hold part, but also I really like definition. So I am really looking forward to trying this out. And when I ordered this, I also picked up a couple of other things to try out that I've been wanting to try for quite some time. And that is the I Create Volume Gel and the I Create Finish Hairspray. So chances are at some point in the future, I will try layering these two. However, in this video, I really want to see how this performs kind of on its own without being layered with a gel. I'll probably layer it with Quiet Calm Curl Control Curl Cream because I already have that and I already know how it works. And then I'm also going to try the I Create Volume on its own as well on this side, or at least with the Quiet Calm Curl Control Cream. And then I will be putting the hairspray over the top of both of it, which is going to change their hold a little bit. It's going to give a little bit of a boost, but I will still be able to kind of tell what each one of these things are doing on their own versus combining them and then also putting this over the top of it. So I will be doing kind of a side-by-side thing in this video. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Innersense Sweet Spirit Leave-In Conditioner. And I usually just spray it into my hand and then run it through. I've really been liking leave-in conditioners, spray leave-in conditioners, a lot more lately. For a while, I wasn't using any leave-in conditioner. Now I'm using spray leave-in conditioners. I just find that I really like that, like the lightweightness of it. Lightweightness, is that a word? Anyway, I like that, the lighter weight feel that they have. And my hair is overall pretty healthy, so I don't need a really heavy, very emollient or moisturizing leave-in conditioner. I just need a little bit of something in there. And if I remember correctly, I do believe this also has protein, which my hair happens to absolutely love. So that is what I am applying first. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and brush it through for even distribution. So I have my hair kind of sectioned off into two different sides. I split it down the middle-ish, relatively. I don't really like a center part, so I did close enough. So this I'm gonna hold off here, and then I section this one. For a bottom section, I usually style my hair in 3 different sections. I usually go ear to ear and then the middle section and the top. And if you've never seen one of my reviews, I usually give you my first impressions as I'm trying the product, and then I show you, of course, the wash day results, and then I also show you days 2 and day 3 without any refreshing. And I do this so that you can see how everything holds up without any sort of interference from me. I'm gonna do the foam on this side, and as I mentioned before, I'm gonna start off with the Quiet Calm Curl Control Cream, and I'll just use up whatever's left in this small bottle. And a little goes a long way, so I'm just gonna take a tiny amount and put that in. Then I'm gonna use my brush just to evenly distribute it throughout. Then I'm gonna get a little bit of the foam, not a lot because we are using a small section here. It's just one side of my head and at the very bottom. And I'm gonna rake that through, and then I'm gonna do something I usually don't do. I'm actually going to define with the foam in. And part of this is because I was watching a video on their website where they put it in section by section, and they didn't really define using a brush, but they did kind of define by raking their fingers through. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give that a try and see how that turns out. And it does have really good slip, which is great. That's something that I look for in products that I use to define, and probably one of the main reasons why I don't usually define with gels or don't like to is because a lot of times gels can add actual drag to the hair versus adding slip. And what you really want to see is your hair being able to glide through. And if you want to get a little bit more tension, you just trap your hair between the brush and your finger, and that gives you more tension. Now my hair underneath here is almost completely straight. It's just very loosely waved, so it doesn't do a whole lot of curling, but you'll see after I give it a little bit of a squeeze. And I prefer to do this rather than really scrunching at my hair because doing that can cause frizz. And then I'm just gonna continue doing the same process all the way up. And when I'm brushing my hair out, I do go out at a 90-degree angle from my head so that my hair is not stuck to my scalp and I can get a little lift and volume. Moving on to the I Create volume side, starting off with a small amount of the curl cream. Just brush through to distribute. And then even though, like I said earlier, I really don't usually like to define with gels, I'm going to anyway, just because I did already define this side with the foam. And so I want to kind of keep it consistent on both sides so that we can kind of see how the products themselves are working. And it seems that this one has a lot of slip. I can already tell just by putting it in with my hands. Oh yeah, a ton of slip. It just glides right on through. So that's awesome. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on this side where I brush style and continue on section by section. And I'll be back when I have it all in and we can see what it looks like before I diffuse it dry. With both of those in, let's go ahead and do a quick comparison. And it looks like neither side has any kind of frizz going, which is great because if you have wet frizz, you're gonna have dry frizz. And even though the goal is not to go for frizz free, you definitely don't want to be causing any of your frizz. You're probably gonna have enough on your own. So you wanna mitigate that with your styling and also with your products. And it looks like we've got some nice definition going on both sides. I think this side might be a little more defined than the other side. And we have no frizz, so that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the I Create finish to just spritz all over. Time to diffuse and then I'll be back. Here are the diffused results, and this side you can definitely probably see on camera that there is a cast. It's a pretty good, strong cast actually, and that's kind of surprising for a foam. Most foams kind of don't really have much of a cast. This one definitely does. And then there's probably a minimal cast on this side, but there is a little bit of a cast. I feel it more on my ends than anywhere else. And then as far as the frizz goes, we've got minimal frizz on either side. That might change once I scrunch out the crunch. But for right now, I don't have a whole lot of frizz, and the definition and curls are looking pretty good at this point, but it's always hard to tell. Never judge before you break the cast. And I'm gonna go ahead and break out the Verb Ghost Oil. I haven't used this one in a while because I've really been stuck on the Evolve Wonder Balm, and I still really love the Evolve Wonder Balm, but I also really love the Verb Ghost Oil. It's very lightweight, or basically weightless, and it's a great serum and really good for sealing everything in and for scrunching out the crunch. So I'm just applying that in and smoothing it all over my hair, and then with what's left on my hands, which is just, you can see a little bit of a sheen, I'm gonna start scrunching out the crunch. Okay, I have to do a little bit of complaining here. So this is my nails. I've got these little flowers on here. I like them, they're cute. My hair is getting stuck on them and it's kind of driving me nuts. Here's the scrunched and fluffed results. So both sides are still minimal frizz, and I've actually got a decent amount of volume on both sides, so that's great. I actually would have to say I probably have a little bit more on this side than the I Create volume side, but I still have a decent amount of volume for this being a gel. And foams, I usually do expect them to give me a little bit more volume, so I'm not surprised there. And I feel like I have a good amount of hold on both sides. I actually really think that these products layered would be great. I do have some wonky curl formations, and I think that has a lot to do with brush styling with the foam and the gel, especially on this side. I'm noticing a little bit more wonkiness than normal. So that is one of the reasons why I don't care much for defining with gel in my hair. But if you're somebody that you find that that works really well for you, this is a good one to do it because of all the slip, like I mentioned before. But I would probably play around with this and just kind of put it in how I normally do, which is smoothing it over and scrunching it in. I really think that it would work better for that. But overall, I think these are some really good results, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they hold up on day 2 and day 3. And be prepared to see a couple of Shop My Stash curly combo videos in the future with me kind of playing around with these products. But my first impressions are that these are really great products. I'm not surprised. Innersense has great quality products. It's just a matter of tweaking them, playing around with them, and seeing what else I can do with them, what I can combine them with, which is, for me, the fun part. So I'm gonna end this for today, and then I'll be back tomorrow. Here's my day 2 hair. All I've done to it this morning is just let it out of the bun and then let it settle for a bit while I was drinking my morning coffee. And this is what we're working with, and the frizz situation is really good. There is very little frizz, especially for day 2, and it's actually been kind of raining off and on here, so there's some humidity in the air, and this is really amazing for frizz. And now, as far as how my curls are holding up, this side seems to be holding up better than this side. This side's a little stretched out, but it was a little bit stretched out more yesterday than this side was too. So I'm not too surprised by that, but I'm really liking the hold and definition that this foam has. It's amazing that a foam has, especially one that's like really light and fluffy like that, it's amazing that it's got this kind of hold and definition. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I'm actually pretty happy with the gel over here too. And I just think definitely I will not be defining or brush styling with either one of these. That's just not my favorite way to do it. And this is kind of a good illustration for why. It just kind of makes things a little bit wonky. It just works a lot better for my hair to brush style with the curl cream and then put in the hold products afterwards by kind of glazing it over, scrunching it in, that kind of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and give my hair a little bit of a fluff so we can see what it looks like after we've shaken it up a bit. And we've got some nice volume on both sides, a little bit more frizz after shaking it up like that, which is to be expected. So yeah, I'm really liking both products. I think they're really great. I really like the foam. That's gonna be one that I'm gonna be using and playing around with a lot more going forward. And then my hair is also feeling really good on both sides. I don't feel like my hair is really dry. They both feel soft, but not too soft. So that's really good. And another thing too is one of my favorite parts about the Innersense products is their fragrance. They are fragranced, however, it's a very nice natural kind of smell, almost earthy, but not quite like, it doesn't smell like dirt or anything like that. I'm really bad at describing fragrances. I would not make a good fragrance reviewer, that's for sure. But they smell good and they don't linger. They're not overpowering and they don't linger. So I really like that. Like I can't even smell the products at all on my hair right now. And even shoving my hair in my nose and smelling it, I really don't smell the fragrance on there anymore. It just kind of smells like my hair. So I love that about these products as well. And then I think I might have forgotten to show you this when I was using it, but this gel is very liquidy. You can see it just run down my hand and it's just got so much slip. Actually, this would work really great for doing a refresh, just mixing a little bit of water with that gel and running it through would really help perk things up on days 2 or day 3. I'm not going to do that because I mentioned that I'm just going to not refresh and show you how everything's holding up on its own, but it is something that I thought was worth mentioning just because it is a really good consistency for doing that, or even just doing a dry refresh on its own. It does not leave my hand feeling sticky at all. In fact, there's actually still a little bit of slipperiness on my hand and it's completely dry. So that would make it an excellent refresh product because you don't want something sticky when you're trying to reduce frizz. Otherwise, it's just gonna stick to the palms of your hands, and as you move your hands away, it's going to just pull your hair away and cause more frizz. So something like this would be great for a refresh. Maybe I'll try that tomorrow on day 3 and see how it works. But for today, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it right here and I'll see you tomorrow. So it's morning of day 3 and this is gonna be the final day of my review. And let's go ahead and take a look at these results. And everything's pretty stretched out and I'm not surprised, it's day 3. And I actually put my hair up in a bun yesterday halfway through the day because it was driving me nuts. The little hairs were tickling my face, trying to go up my nose, and I wasn't a fan. So it went up in a bun. So this actually held up pretty well considering it was up in a bun for as long as it was. And the frizz is still really, really good on both sides. And I do think this side still has a lot more hold than the gel side. Overall, I'm really, really happy with this foam. I think it lives up to its claims that it gives great definition and has a firm hold, and it held up really well. I also think that due to the volume that I got from this as well, that it would also be really good for fine, easily weighed down hair, because it did just, I mean, it's not heavy at all, and it did perk my hair up over here, and I had just as much volume on this side, if not more, than what I had on the I Create Volume side. Which, by the way, the I Create Volume was kind of a bonus, because I'm pretty sure in the title I will only be mentioning this, so this was kind of a bonus review. But I decided that since I already had it anyway and I wanted to try it, I might as well combine it into one. And while we're on the subject of the I Create Volume Gel, I do really, really like this gel. I think this is another one that's really lightweight and isn't going to weigh down fine, easily weighed down hair. And it does give some volume. And I think this is one that, just like I mentioned probably a couple of times already, this is just one that isn't gonna work for defining with the brush. And same thing with the foam over here. And now I have mentioned that that's not my favorite way to define my hair. I prefer to brush style with a cream in my hair and then glaze and scrunch the whole products in over the top of that. But that being said, I have been kind of experimenting a little bit lately with brush styling and defining with foams and then with gels, or putting both a foam and a gel in at the same time and defining. In fact, by the time this video goes up, there will be a short that will probably already have gone up where I used a foam and a gel to define, and it turned out really great. Like, I had great volume and a really good hold, and everything looked really good, and I had nice bouncy curls. So it really does depend on the foam and the gel and whether or not it works really well with that, because another one that I really like to define with is the Curlsmith In Shower Style Fixer, because it is one that your hair needs to be really, really wet in order for it to work well. It's a very thick gel, it's a very firm hold, and I just find that the best way to go about it is to define with it versus try to glaze and scrunch it in afterwards, because even though I mix it with water to help make it a little bit easier to distribute, it still doesn't distribute nearly as well as when I brush style with it. So kind of all of this to say that if something doesn't work for you the way you normally work with it, that doesn't mean that the product isn't going to work for you at all. Just kind of play around with it and experiment and see if maybe it might work a different way. And I did say that I think that this would be really good for refreshing, and I definitely believe that. I mean, first of all, it's a very liquidy gel, and it's got so much slip, and it's not sticky. So I can see this working really well, and let's just see what it does for dry. Yeah, I think it's actually gonna work better if I have some water on my hands. So we're just gonna do a quick refresh with this and a little bit of water. And I just have my spray bottle here to spray my hands and get my hair a little bit wet. I prefer to spray water into my hands versus spraying it right on my hair, because I have a little bit more control over where everything is going when I put it in my hands. So I'm gonna spray some water and add a small amount of gel, and you couldn't really see it because it's so watery, it's mixing in with it, so you couldn't see how much I put in, but it was about a pea-size amount. And I'm just gonna go over and then start scrunching, and that'll kind of help bring some of the curls back. And then we'll do another pea-size amount of gel. Still can't see it because it's so liquidy, it really looks like water. And then we're gonna go over some of these really stretched out bits and maybe do a curl by curl thing and try to redefine, get it a little bit wetter. Now, ordinarily on day 3, I wouldn't go through all of this refreshing. Day 3 is usually my wash day, so I usually just don't really worry about it a whole lot. But if I did have to worry about my hair and try to make it look good, this is the type of refresh that I'd probably wind up doing, just because by day 3, it is pretty stretched out. Usually has a lot of frizz, so I just find that it works a lot better. To get these to pop up, I might actually go ahead and spray them. You can see they're coming back a little bit, We're just gonna go ahead and brush through to get that water going through there, to get them to kind of clump a little bit more and to smooth everything out. We'll see if we can get them to define. Give them a little bit of a scrunch to encourage them to curl. And if necessary, do a little bit of finger coiling. A little bit more water in my hand, a little bit more gel, and we're gonna go over this area here and scrunch. I might actually get this a little bit more wet as well. And once we smooth it all out, do a finger coil. I really love how much slip this gel has because it makes finger coiling really easy. My fingers aren't getting stuck on my hair at all. They're just gliding right on through. So we now have some finger coils there, and I'm just gonna kind of scrunch them up to get them to curl. And then we're gonna come over here. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. We're gonna go over with the gel and the water, smooth it over, start getting everything going. So once you're done with that and you're kind of happy with it overall, then you can either let it air dry or you can diffuse it dry to speed up the process. And that's what I am going to do. And I put it on about medium heat and then high speed to start with. And once you're done diffusing, you can add a little bit of serum to go ahead and seal everything in and to scrunch out the crunch if there is any. So I am completely done, and as you can see, that definitely helped to perk up some of my curls, bring some of them back so they're not quite so stretched out. I actually do have some curls and waves again instead of just kind of craziness going on. But to be completely honest, this is not something I do very often. I usually, by the time I get to day 3, if it just doesn't look good, I will throw it up in a ponytail or a bun, and I just don't care because I'm gonna be washing it anyway. I am not big on refreshing to begin with. However, for those of you who do like to refresh and want to know how to refresh, hopefully this was helpful for you. And I do really think that this is a great refreshing product just because it is so slippery, so it doesn't cause any kind of stickiness or tackiness for your hair to get stuck to, which is gonna cause frizz. So it's really great for that. And then I can definitely feel that this mousse was reactivated by the water, which is why I didn't put any more of it in there because I just don't need it. Like I can definitely feel the cast that I had on wash day forming again in my hair, which is definitely the sign of a really good quality product when it can be very easily reactivated with water alone. And you can just kind of wet it down and get it to do its thing all over again without having to add more products to it. But I'm gonna go ahead and just end my review here. Both of these are really great. I think they're really universal. This is just phenomenal. Like I am really impressed by this foam, and I really think that both of these products are gonna work really well with fine, easily weighed down hair because they do add some volume and they're just not heavy at all. And just excellent quality. I really, really am very happy, and I can't wait to try these out in some of my Shop My Stash Curly Combo videos and play around with them and experiment and use them with different things. But as for this video, hopefully you found this review helpful. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.